Welcome to the Digital Business Evolution Podcast, a place that you can now call home. I know you're creating long-lasting impact in this world, and you absolutely deserve the time, location, career, and financial freedom that you desire. I'm here to guide you with proven strategies, tools, and mindset hacks that I've taught to thousands of business owners. You'll also be hearing from exceptional guests sharing stories of their own personal and business evolution. My name is Jessica DeRose, and I'm here to teach you what I'm learning. We are all inherently worthy, regardless of the number of degrees, awards, and accolades that we've collected along the way. Grab a notebook, a coffee, and enjoy the show. Hello, and welcome back to the show. I'm so excited to be here, and I recognize that I've said that on every episode, but I'm truly just loving this whole podcasting thing. So if you've ever been thinking about a podcast and you really want to create one, I suggest that you just take the leap because it's really fun. Anyway, I digress. Today we are talking about the 3 different components to creating a successful coaching program or a course. Really, they're both the same thing. They can be interchangeable. And the way that you deliver them is really what changes why they might be called a course versus a coaching program. One sort of has this live component, but we'll break that down. So I'm coming to you from the lens of being a teacher. And I was a teacher for 8 years in an elementary school. So my brain has always sort of worked in the teacher way, where I see things as modules or curriculums. It's very easy for me to break things down and kind of compartmentalize where they go. So I'm really excited to be talking about this today because the way that I see a successful group program, and that's success for you, the business owner, monetarily, right? Impact and income, but also success for the client that's coming through, making sure that they're going to get the best experience and result. So I'm breaking it down for you in this way that hopefully is super easy to digest. So grab your notebooks, grab your pens, take out the note section of your phone because you're definitely going to want to write some stuff down. So starting off, I'm going to just say it, blanket statement. There's no best or right way. Everything is always my opinion, like I say, but I truly believe that group coaching is the best place to start. So if you're starting a coaching business or you already have some sort of a digital service-based business, my belief is that group coaching is the best place to start. Let me explain why. When you have a group of people, whether it's 3 people, 12 people, 40 people, doesn't matter, it could be 100. When you have a group of people in a container together, what's happening is you're making more impact, right? We can all see that. You're impacting more lives in less time. So you're also trading less time for money. You're building a community, which when you have a community, when they have a community, they're going to have better results, typically a better experience, which is going to give you higher retention. They feel more like they're a part of the bigger vision. It becomes bigger than just them. It's bigger than just you. You're building this community, which becomes almost self-sustaining inside of your business. So your retention goes up, the client results go up, which means the feedback, whether it's good or bad, all feedback is neutral, but the feedback is going to go up because if you're working with one person, one-on-one, that's one piece of feedback. But if you have 12 people, 40 people, 100 people in a group, well, that's 40 times, 100 times the feedback, which again, whether it's good or bad, it's all neutral. Feedback is going to be the thing that's going to really move the needle in your business if you're willing to listen to it. It's going to build confidence for you. There's peer-to-peer learning and support and accountability that goes on within a community. It's more scalable and it can be leveraged. So a group coaching program can be leveraged once it's done, once it's created, once you've run it a few times. You want to turn that puppy evergreen? Go for it, right? You want to create an upsell or a downsell from there. You want to build a program after it or before it. Maybe you want to pull pieces out of the program. Heck, you can use them for opt-ins, right? So I really do believe that group coaching is the best place to start. Now, I want to zoom out and go 30,000 foot view. So stick with me here. Close your eyes if you need to. If you're driving a car, please don't close your eyes or operating heavy machinery. But I want to break down the Ascension model, or what sometimes is called the product suite. Now, without getting into it too much, because I can talk about it in depth, which if you're interested, DM me and let me know, because I'll do a whole entire episode. So DM me, I am Jessica DeRose, and let me know if an Ascension model podcast episode would be helpful for you. But I want you to imagine that there's this triangle, this pyramid, and we have 5 different levels. Or we can even do 6. There's 5 different levels. And at the very bottom of this pyramid, we have the free level. And above free, we have do it yourself, DIY. And above that, we have done with you. And above that, we have collectively done together. And at the very top, we have done for you. Now, I'm a visual person, so I wish you were here with me. If you are watching on YouTube, you are here with me. But if you're just listening to the audio right now, I want you just to imagine this triangle in your brain. So at the very bottom, the free stuff, that's our runway. That's our marketing. That could be anything from a podcast to hosting a free masterclass to the content you put out on social media. It's free. Above that the do-it-yourself version, that's usually where people consider it to be like an evergreen product. So evergreen just means that it lives by itself. A lot of people will say that it's passive. I don't believe that anything in business is truly passive because you still have to market it. You still have to let people know, you still have to let people know that it's available for them. And so is it really passive? I don't think it's passive, but it might just not have a live component. So this could be a course, a little program that people go through. It could be a do-it-yourself template. It could be a do-it-yourself follow-along recipe guide. It could be a do-it-yourself build a piece of furniture. They're just following along. It's kind of like the IKEA instruction manual. Above that is the done with you. And this, in my brain, is where group coaching falls in. So right smack dab in the middle of this little pyramid that we're talking about, we have the done with you, meaning I'm going to be there with you to make sure that you're leveling up, you're understanding, you're comprehending, you're taking action. I'm holding you accountable. I'm answering questions. I'm invested in your transformation. That's not to say do it yourself means I'm not invested. Of course I am. I'm the one who created it, but I'm not there with you in the nitty gritty of it all. And then above the done with you, we have the collectively done together, which also could be kind of like a group coaching, but I see this more as like mastermind style, where everybody in the room is an expert and everybody's kind of helping everybody. And there's a lot of peer-to-peer learning and peer-to-peer accountability, right? And then at the very top, the done for you is that sort of one-on-one coaching or agency model. But again, if you're interested in like a full episode on Ascension models, just let me know. DM me the word Ascension or product suite and let me know your opinion because I will absolutely do an episode on that. So right in the middle, we've got this visual. Right in the middle is this group coaching. Again, I believe it's the best place to start. I don't think you should start at the bottom, and I definitely don't think you should start at the top. In fact, I think some of the biggest mistakes that new coaches and entrepreneurs make is starting in the wrong place. I think some of the other mistakes they make are thinking that the bottom, the evergreen, the membership model, the low ticket is going to be the easiest to sell. When the reality of it is, it's oftentimes the hardest to sell because it's a low ticket. A lot of times ego gets in the way and people think, I don't need something like that. I'm better than that. I'm beyond that. If it's low ticket, it must not be for me. This is the psychology and the ego for a lot of people. And so they don't buy it. Or they think something at that low price point is never going to be able to give me the transformation that I'm looking for. So that can't be for me. And you, the business owner, well, it's math, right? Math is the path, like we always say. And so it's a numbers game. It's volume. If you're selling something at $25 or $40 or even $97, you're going to need a lot more volume, AKA buyers, in order to hit that 10K, month or that 100K launch goal. Think about it. Lower number means more people need to buy. And so starting with the lowest ticket is often really difficult because if you're starting there, it's a pretty good indicator that you're probably in the beginning phases of your business, which means maybe you don't have an email list yet, or it's not big. Maybe you don't have a ton of hot buyers. Maybe you don't have a ton of credibility and authority or brand awareness. Maybe you don't have a huge following or an audience yet to sell to. So thinking that you can come in at the bottom and sell low ticket is hard for a couple different reasons. Now, that's not to say some people don't crush it, and it's not to say some people don't start there and do really well. They absolutely do. But again, I'm just speaking from experience building my own multiple seven-figure business and helping hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of clients build their businesses. And being in lots of different masterminds over the last 10 years, I truly believe that starting in the middle is the best place. So another mistake that I see new coaches make is they start at the top. And they're like, I'm going to come in swinging real big and I'm going to go high level mastermind. That way I only need to sell a few, which the thought process behind that makes sense. Yes, you would only need to sell a few, and a few is probably easier than a lot, especially when you don't have the audience or brand awareness or email list or all of these things. But recognize that coming in at the top end could also be difficult. You could potentially put yourself into a hole financially because those types of masterminds could actually cost a lot of money. It could burn you out. You might be over leveraged. You might not have the systems and the automations and the foundations to your business in place to be able to literally hold that type of container, the capacity at which the clients might be coming in, the expectations that they might be coming in with, right? You might not be able to live up to their expectations. I'm not saying that you can't or you're not good enough. What I'm saying though is just recognize if this is where you're starting, they might be expecting a lot because at that high touch point, high ticket price point, people generally are expecting a lot. And you just might not have the systems in place to be able to do something like that. You also might not have the confidence to sell something at such a high ticket. Now, there's this argument in the coaching industry that people should start with one-on-one clients first. I don't necessarily disagree with that. I don't think you need to start with one-on-one clients. What I think often happens is people will start with a couple one-on-one clients, and they very quickly get to a place where they're feeling burnt out. That might be you right now. You're like, oh my God, that is so me. I don't have any more time. I want to make more money, but I literally don't have more time in the calendar for any more clients, so I'm stuck. And so oftentimes people will take their one-on-one clients and they'll kind of roll them into a group coaching program. But Jess, what if they don't want that? Okay, well, that's for you to navigate, but it's an invitation. It's also a boundary. When you're the business owner, when you're the coach, when you're the entrepreneur, you get to call the shots. Now, always doing it with integrity, of course, but you can absolutely say, hey, listen, you know what? I love working with you one-on-one. We've been doing this for 3 months. We've been doing this for 6 months. We've been doing this for 2 years, but I'm making some changes in my business. Moving forward, starting next month or 2 months from now, I'm actually going to be taking my one-on-one clients. I'm going to be rolling them into a group container. And the reason why I'm doing this is because you're going to list off the benefits. What's in it for them? I'm noticing that all of my one-on-one clients are all going through a lot of the same things, and it would be really beneficial for you all to be in a group together where you can talk amongst yourselves, where you can support each other, where you can feel seen and heard by other people that are going through it. Literally, to be around like-minded people who are going through a similar journey. I also noticed that I'm saying the same thing to all of you over and over again. So in an effort to make my life a little bit easier, because by making my life a little bit easier, I'm actually giving back to myself. I'm pouring back into my cup, which then allows me to be at 110% for my clients. But by me saying things over and over and over again, it doesn't make any sense. It's drowning me. It's burning me out. It's exhausting me. And I want to make sure that I'm always giving my clients 110%. So by rolling you into this group program together, it will allow me more time and space to go learn more stuff, to go back and invest in myself, to go make sure I'm filling up my cup, to take care of myself and my health so that I can bring it back to you. You can list off some other benefits. I know that being in a group coaching program myself, I've gained XYZ, and I would love that for you. Now, this is exactly what I did back in 2018 with our signature program, Empower. So in 2017, I started helping friends behind the scenes, just quietly and totally for free. I was helping them build their business. And after a very quick couple weeks, I noticed I was saying the exact same thing to all of my friends on these little one-on-one help sessions. And so I said to them, listen, it wasn't even an ask. It was kind of like, guys, I can't do this anymore. I want to help all of you, but I can't do this because I'm saying the exact same thing to all of you and you're all going through the exact same problems. And it would just make my life easier if I did it in a group. And so I'm going to start creating videos for you, which I did. And I'm just going to pop them over into a Facebook group. And I'm going to throw you all into the Facebook group together. And if you have questions that you don't feel comfortable asking in there, you don't have to. And you don't have to be active and you don't have to speak up. But I think it would probably benefit you because you're all going through the same things and you can actually help each other. Also, the gap between where I am and where you are is much bigger than the gap between where you guys are from each other. And so I just rolled them into a Facebook group and I started dropping in Zoom recordings and Loom recordings and phone recordings of different trainings and Google Docs. And then we started meeting up on Zoom. I just threw it out there. It was kind of like an office hours situation where I said, hey, I'm going to be on from this time to this time. If you want to pop on to ask your questions, I suggest that you do that, right? And then because we all lived in New York City and we all worked at the same gym, we started meeting up in person. And one friend all of a sudden turned into 3 and then 5 and then 7. And every Thursday at noon, we're sitting around my laptop in the group fitness studio And I'm basically coaching them through stuff that I was teaching them. And so I started charging them because they started getting results. So they were taking the stuff that I was teaching them for free and the content that I was putting out on social media for free, and they started implementing it into their businesses and they started getting results. One of my friends had an $80,000 launch. $80,000 just by listening and following along to the things that I was telling her to do. So I very quickly went from helping friends for free in a one-on-one capacity, sort of getting my land legs, getting my confidence, putting together some frameworks and methodologies as I was teaching them, to 1 month, 2 months later, now all of a sudden I have a group program. 3 months later, I'm now charging for it. And so it very naturally and organically turned from one-on-one, and I was burnt out, to this group coaching program. So going back to the mistakes, often seeing people come in at the bottom, it's not about charging too little. It's just thinking that going low ticket, it's going to make their life easier, or going membership style, but not having the audience for it. And then sometimes people come in at the top and they can't actually hang. They can't hold what they're putting out there. They can't live up to the expectations because they don't have the foundations in place. Again, this is why coming in at the middle, I believe, is the best place. It gives you the opportunity then to say, all right, let me learn in the middle what people want. Let me get the feedback. Let me get the testimonials. Let me get the experience. Let me build the frameworks. Let me gain the confidence. And then after, I can decide if I want to go up the ladder or down the ladder. And that's really all about the customer journey, which I'm definitely going to do an episode on customer journey. So let's unpack the 3 different C's to a successful coaching program. These are what I see to be the most successful integral ingredients to building out that perfect program. So the first one, get your pen. The first one is content. So the content that you put inside of your teaching portal. Now, teaching and coaching are 2 different things, and we can get into that. But I believe when you have a coaching program or a course, it's imperative that you have some sort of a teaching portal. And this is the content that is short, it's bite-sized, it is required for the audience member or the client to learn for them to have the transformation. It's required. If they don't learn these things, they cannot possibly integrate them into their lives. They can't possibly have the transformation that you've promised, taking them from A to Z. So the content is where you teach. Now, teaching, very simply, is you extracting knowledge from your brain and transmuting it across to them. That's teaching. It's you sharing something that you know, something that you've learned. It's you sharing your expertise. Now, when we think of a teacher in a classroom, a teacher does very much back and forth. There's active, passive. I'm invested to know if the person is learning. Do they understand? Are my students going to be successful? But the definition of teaching is more like this right now, podcast episode. So of course, I want you to understand what I'm saying and I want you to be successful, but I'm not invested in your transformation at this very moment. I'm here to give information, sort of drop the mic and walk off stage. That's teaching. So teaching is happening inside of your content. Now, the second piece of a successful coaching program is going to be coaching. Remember, these are the 3 C's. So we've got content first, coaching is second. So coaching is the live connection. Now, whether or not you are literally live because you're doing a Zoom call or just live as in you're there to answer questions, maybe you do office hours, maybe you have some sort of a group where people can put in questions and audits, and maybe they're filling out forms each week and you're emailing them back, whatever it is, it's this invested in their transformation back and forth relationship. And this is where teaching and coaching are different. So teaching is blah, here's all the information. I'm spewing it out to you, drinking water from a fire hose. I'm going to drop the mic and walk off the stage. And I really don't mind or care or lose sleep over the fact of, did you get it or not, right? I say that with love. But coaching, I'm invested. I'm part of this with you. I am in the weeds, working it out, making sure that you get it. A coach guides the client to their own answer. A coach does not give the answer. So when a client asks me, I was just about to say, Miss Glazer, that's so funny, being a teacher for 8 years. Oh my goodness. When a client asks me, Jess, what should I price my program? I'm not going to give them an answer. I'm going to help guide them to their own answer. That's coaching, right? That's so funny that I just said Miss Glazer. Well, I guess you can't take the teacher out of the classroom. So coaching is the second C, and that's when you're really invested live in the person's transformation. And the third part of a successful program is going to be community. So we've got content, coaching, community. So the community we talked about a little bit earlier is going to be that support, accountability. It's going to help you with retention. And the community can be built on any platform. It really doesn't matter. It's totally up to you. It's what feels best for you. What's exciting. What do you want to do in your business? Now, me personally, inside of our programs, we build our community in Facebook. I love a good Facebook group. I think they're the best. My personal opinion is that they're the best place for community. I like how you can go live. I like how you can pin things. I like the interactive feel. I also truly believe in the path of least resistance equals the most success. And so when you're thinking about a client and you're thinking about what is the path of least resistance, even if a client doesn't like using Facebook or they haven't used it in a long time, they probably know what it is. They probably have the app downloaded. They probably have a login somewhere. And so it makes it less sticky for them to join the Facebook group. Maybe they don't want to use Facebook in their personal life, and that's fine, but everybody knows what Facebook is now. It's 2022. Versus if I were to say our group is run on Marco Polo, which is an app, some of you right now might have just been like, what? What's Marco Polo? I've never heard of that. Or Voxer or WhatsApp, right? There are all these different platforms that you can use, some of which have really cool features and technologies that maybe other apps don't have. But if someone in your audience member or your audience doesn't know what it is, or if they've never heard of it, they've never downloaded it, they're confused by it, now they have to learn how to use a new platform, that resistance is going to become a sticky point for them to say yes to joining your program. So just keep in mind, it's not about you, never is, it's always about them. So the 3 C's, we've got content where you teach, coaching where you help transform, and community, well, that's self-explanatory. The thing with group coaching is that you get to create it once and you can sell it forever. Like I said earlier, you can repackage it, you could break it apart, you could turn it into opt-ins, you could turn it into pieces of evergreen, or you can just run that program over and over and over again. Our signature program, Empower, that I spoke about earlier, we are getting ready, or we are just now, when this episode is dropping, filling our 15th class. 15 times we've run this program. And it's a well-oiled machine because after 14 rounds, we've gotten a lot of feedback. We've got tons of testimonials. We have insane social proof and case studies. We've been able to bring on coaches. We've got a staff of 10 who have come from the program. All of our coaches have come through the program. They've had experience in there. But over the 14 rounds, we've been able to tweak it and build it and add things and delete things and change the order of the content in the portal. We've created a workbook that's been revised 4 times. We're on our 4th edition of our workbook. We've added things like workshop days. We didn't have workshop days at the beginning. Number 1, because I didn't know we needed them. And it just was never in the feedback that wouldn't it be cool if. But number 2, the technology didn't exist. How crazy is that? So when Empower started in 2018, breakout rooms were not a thing on Zoom. Now they're a thing. And so now we're utilizing them. So we tweak the program every single time, but we only created it once and we're continuing to sell it forever. And so I want to leave you with this. There's this concept of the flywheel, and it's written in a book, and I'm forgetting the name of the book as I'm speaking right now, but it's kind of the hedgehog momentum. It's this flywheel. And so if you were to picture this gigantic, I see like the Price is Right wheel, except heavier, like way heavier, and you were to go to spin that wheel, I want it to be so heavy and so sticky that you're literally like hanging on it. You're climbing on it, trying to get it to spin, and it's just not moving. Your muscles are shaking and you're sweating and you're trying everything in your power. You're running into it and trying to push it up. You're hanging on it and you're trying to pull it down. And eventually, after a couple of days, you start to get it to move. But it's taking all of your energy, all of your strength to move this flywheel. And eventually, as you're moving it, it starts to move a little bit more and then a little bit more. And now you get one full circle. And after one full circle, it starts to pick up a little bit. And over time, it starts to pick up speed so much so that you can let go. And you actually don't even have to touch it. And now that flywheel, that little hedgehog who's curled in a ball, is just rolling away by itself. And so when we think about building our coaching business, I want you to think about your business like this. putting the work in at the beginning, getting those foundations laid, getting that group coaching program going, moving it, and getting it to a point where it's moving itself. Anybody can make money online. Anybody can make money online. I am not interested in making money. I'm interested in building myself a machine that makes me money, a flywheel that's just moving and grooving with momentum, and it's making me money and it's making impact in this world. So my question for you is, how do we get that to move faster or easier? Well, we can get stronger. We can be bigger, which we can't really change that. Or we can bring in some more power, some more manpower, woman power. Like, it'd be so much easier to get that flywheel to start moving if we just had people with us, if we had a team, if there were 4 of us or 8 of us or 12 of us. Okay, so how does that relate to your business? Well, that would be hiring people, delegating, right? Bringing in that manpower, that woman power. But what if you can't hire? What if you're at the beginning stages of your business? You don't even have clients yet. Jess, I can't hire people. Yeah, I know, I get it. Who else can be that power? Your clients. Your clients create the momentum. When you have a group coaching program, you have more clients. Even if it's 3, that's more than 1. They help you with the hype. They help you with the results. They help you with the testimonials. They bring back feedback. They ask you questions. Your clients become the power. So as you're thinking about where do I start in my Ascension model, I believe group coaching is the best place to start. And it allows you the most leverage in your business to truly create a machine. It's so good. And I stand in my truth when I say that this is just what I believe. And this is how we've built our business. We've got our signature program, which is group coaching, and we've built around that program based on what we see that people need next, or they need before, or what might be missing, or what I'm excited to go build. But at the end of the day, it's the core of the business. Now, I didn't say it's the only revenue stream. It's not putting all of our eggs into one basket. Everything is diversified, where clients are coming from, where we generate leads, where we're making money, how we make an impact. That is all diversified. But the core to the business, the centrifuge of the wheel, is group coaching. It's so good. I hope you loved this episode as much as I did. If you have questions, of course, please DM me. And I'm not kidding. Let me know if it would be helpful if you want an Ascension model episode. I'm happy to do it. Cheers to your evolution. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you loved this episode, I invite you to be a part of our ripple effect and share it with a friend. And please, if you feel called, take 30 seconds to leave a 5-star review, and I'll be forever grateful. Until next time, cheers to your evolution.